네, 안녕하십니까. 오늘 뜻깊은
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. I'm honored to be here with you, and thank you so much for joining us, both online and offline. My name is Jun Park. I'm from MOLIT. I'd like to talk about the government's efforts, including its policies and strategies. Well, we have started our big journey from UAM a few years ago, so I believe this event will be a very meaningful venue. So my presentation will help set the direction and lay the framework for the UAM industry. So the title of my presentation today is K-UAM policy. I'll cover introduction, K-UAM roadmap, UAM Team Korea, K-UAM concept of operations 1.0, and K-drone system. So this is what our metropolitan city looks like. As you know, we have the very high, very congested traffic, and with a lot of complex subway lines, which all contribute to the environmental pollution. So how can we deal with the situation? Maybe, how about we build new airport or heliport near your home? During the construction, it will create all the noise and all the environmental pollutions. And even if it's built, you will hear all the noise from the flight. So how can we avoid all these but introduce a new mode of transportation? That is the UAM. So Hyundai, Hanwha, Sungbi, and Unist have joined their effort to develop a clean and noiseless and eco-friendly aerial vehicle. So the Korean government has a keen interest in this development of a new mode of transportation. And as you know, we have strength. Korea has big strength in communication technology and automobiles and related parts. So the vector thrust, the rotor tilt, and there is another type, lift and cruise, and multi-copter method, or the things that are enabled by the motor and battery technologies. So in order to have this UAM as a new mode of transportation, it needs to have a transportation functions, and we need to take consideration, and we need to build a new ecosystem for UAM operation, including the vertiports. So the UAM has been a new concept to Korea, the Korean government, back in around 2019. So in June 2020, the Korean government has released the K-UAM roadmap, and since 2020, so under this roadmap, it specifies the government's effort from 2020 to 2035. So, and there are some technologies that are required to make that possible. As you know, including the core technologies and what kind of core technologies should be localized. That's why the Korean government has published the technology roadmap in March 2021. So UAM is a completely new type of transportation mode. So we needed a completely new manual and roadmap. So that roadmap is the concept of Operation 1.0 that has been published last year in September. The reason why we have attached 1.0 for this concept of operation is because maybe sometime later we might need to revise that to 2.0. So we plan to test and modify these ConOps. So the national governments all over the world are establishing UAM ecosystems, and they are keen in this part, and they are actively involved in various kinds of demonstration and R&D activities, including Korea. And we also have this K-UAM Grand Challenge, and we have a big demonstration project, and we needed to go through the pre-feasibility test. We had a challenge last year in order to make this more make this plan more feasible. We have invited various kinds of related departments and stakeholders to be involved. So our goal is to start the commercialization in 2025, and this is a roadmap, and our final goal is to popularize the UAM by 2035. This is the schedule for our roadmap. As I've said, UAM is a completely new mode of transportation that hasn't been around before. So it will take long. So during the process, we are also planning various kinds of events to increase the public acceptance. And I'm talking about commercialization. So when it is commercialized, people need to pay fees to take this UAM vehicle. And it might take some time, but as over time, the passengers for UAM vehicles will increase. So by around 2030, when it is completely commercialized and popularized, the usage fee will drop down, which will also attract further passengers. So to make this possible, we have 6 strategies. The first strategy is, as you know, if we do not have any system put in place, we cannot attract operators. So that is why our strategy 1 is setting up regulation basis for safety. And also based on this foundation and framework, the operators in the private sector can make this a new sector from which they can earn profit. So our second strategy is strengthening private sector, and to do that, we need to explore routes that can make profit. So this is our demonstration route. It connects the Incheon Airport and Gimpo Airport, which are 2 airports in the metropolitan city, which can create better profit. So related to set this demonstration route, a lot of related government organizations has been involved, and their seasoned pilots have also joined in to draw this route. And the third strategy is steps for public acceptance. No matter how hard government makes its effort to make this possible, if we don't have passengers or users to use this service, it will fail. So that is why increasing public acceptance is really important in the process. But before having this UAM vehicle to be very popular, let's just imagine when there's a fire in a high-rise building. Then, to combat this fire, to fight this fire, there's a UAM vehicle that suddenly appears to catch this fire. Then people's acceptance will be increased. And also, we can also have this UAM for the military actions, which will also help people to increase their acceptance to the introduction of the UAM. And this is also connected to our next strategy, which is the fourth strategy. This is creating infrastructure and connectivity. We need infrastructure that's suitable to the different size of the UAMs, including the small UAVs, to the large ones, including as well as vertiports. In June 17, we will have a special explanation session for the K-UAM Grand Challenge. More details will be provided in that event. And the strategy 5 is about industrial ecosystem. Cooperation in the close cooperation among all the players in the industry is important. And the next strategy, which is the last one, is international cooperation. It is also essential to have this cooperation with international organizations. And let us watch this about 2-minute video about our program.
네, 본 영상에서
So from this video clip shows that this UAM
우리 소비자들이 이용자들이 어떤 부분을 UAM을 통해서
it
멀티모달로서
describes the UAM operations, and it also talks about the multimodal system that is needed by the passengers. So let me give you one example. A passenger at the Incheon airport suddenly realizes that she forgot to bring her passport, and she calls her mom at home and tells her mom that she called to the air drone to be sent to her house to pick up her passport back to the airport. So to her, there's nothing to worry. So this is a completely new mode of transportation that can solve a lot of our problems that we might face in our daily lives. So this is an advanced mode of transportation. So taking this opportunity, I'd like to ask all of you for your kind interest in this project. So to make this possible, as I've said, around 2025 or 2035, we will be able to see this UAM vehicles flying over our cities. We expect that around 100,000 people will use these vehicles. So we also looked at what kind of technologies that we need. So by around 2025, we will need about 4 vertiports. By 2030, we will need 24 vertiports, and by 2035, we will need around 52 vertiports. And as for the operators, well, at the initial stage, they will need a significant amount of investment. But by 2035,
이런 부분에 대해서도 좀 많은
they will be able to make profit in this sector. So I have already introduced you 6 strategies for K-UAM. And to push that forward, I have listed 5 strategies for this project. So first one is about the safety. Safety is the key to the success for the UAM service. And second is gaining acceptance from people. And third is cost. It needs to be cost effective. And fourth, it needs to be sustainable because it needs to be around for a long period of time. And fifth is mutual development and cooperation between private and public. So this might seem a little complex. We need advanced technologies for that to make this possible. We need batteries. When charging, it can get really hot. So we need advanced technologies to deal with that, and we need all the related advanced technologies and top-notch technologies for flight services. And our ultimate goal is autonomous operation for UAM. So for about next 9 to 10 years, we will conduct and push forward this project. And our total budget is around 1.6 trillion. Well, today's event is organized by both by UAM Team Korea as well as the MOLIT of Korea. We are closely cooperating with each other to push forward this project. And we are also holding annual working level meetings amongst us. And so, as I've said, we will be hosting the Grand Challenge, and we are having a lot of collaborations to host this kind of events. And also, we are sharing common field of interest of participating organizations. And we are also collaborating to create a UAM special laws. And we are also collaborating with many related private sector companies, including Hyundai, Hanwha, Korean Air, SK Telecoms. And also, there are key players from academia, including Seoul University, KIAST, and others, government ministries, local governments, and related organizations, research institutes. And initially, this UAM Team Korea started with 37 parties, but within 1 year, it has jumped to 47 participants, and more will come to join our team. And so today, we have given you a copy of K-UAM ConOps 1.0 as a hard copy. So please take a look at it if you do have any free time after this conference. So this is a PSU is important, and vertiport operator is in green. which is also important and a key player. And the SDSP, PSU, vertiport operator, other stakeholders, ATC, and UAM air operators are all collaborating closely. And there are telecom communications that are closely cooperating as well. UHF, VHF are existing communication channels that made us communicate information with each other. But we will also make it possible to share other related information. But UAM, those are existing communication technologies that are used for the communication of existing aircraft. But as you know, UAM is a completely new mode of vehicle transportation, which is small. So we need suitable technologies to facilitate communication for the operation of UAM. And this UAM CONOPS 1.0 features background definitions, development direction of K-UAM operation, K-UAM CONOPS details at the initial phase, and its operation scenarios. So in this slide, it shows all the stages from planning, pre-flight, takeoff, ascending cruise, approach and landing, ground movement, post-flight. And this is a diagram that has been released back in September last year. As you know,
정부 항공교통 관제 기관에서
so the existing government organizations and the air traffic controlling office are controlling the operation of the flights that are flying up to 60,000 feet. But this is UAM will be using different corridors. And PSU is a provider of service of UAM. And UAM and UTM service provider and PSU. Take a look at the PSU. Take a look at the blue and yellow corridors. So this is kind of an overall diagram, a simplified diagram of how our skies will be arranged for the operation of existing aircrafts and the smaller aircrafts, such as UAM. And that's Data Exchange Protocol, or DEP, to facilitate the exchange of information between operators. And so if there's any changes or any kind of challenges when a UAM vehicle is flying over the city, then information and data will be communicated to it through advanced technologies.
그래서 이 운영 개념은
So this UAM CONOPS 1.0 will lay the foundation for the related law that's to be established in the future. And as I have already been explained to you, UAM Grand Challenge will help test and modify this CONOPS. And let's talk about the automobiles. When there were first automobiles introduced, a lot of technologies were newly developed over time. The same can be said to the drones. So let us turn our eyes to the K-drone system. So you see this line, red dotted line in this diagram. This marks the 150 kilometers, 150 meters or 500 feet from the ground. This is how high a drone can fly up in the sky in Korea. And with the advanced controlling technology, you would see the types of advanced controlling or surveillance equipments, or FIMS. These are the core technologies of K-drone system. And the Korean government is supporting R&D projects. It also encourages public to take part in the demonstration projects. And we are collecting information from those demonstration projects. And all the research results will be collected to this FIM system, which will be shared among all the operators or key stakeholders. So drone and UAM can only fly within VLOS. But within the VLOS. But over time, in a few years' time, we can expand it further. Let's say there can be a tree in the way ahead of the drone. So when we set the corridors for the operation of drone, we are not doing it out of scratch. We set those kind of potential corridors based on all the information collected from related organizations.
교통관리 기능이 있다라면 미래의 사업자들은
So that is why we need to build this kind of system that can collect all the related information to set the most feasible and potential route for the drones. The key is the greatest challenge is that drone operators cannot see what are the routes for the other drones. That's the biggest challenge for the time being. So that will be how we can overcome and address that challenge will be one of our tasks. To do that, the participation from the government organization is needed, and also the large private companies can also take part. So in order to connect flight, the fuselage and users, we need a terminal. So this is a UTI which can do that. We are at the initial stage for this device. Over time, the device can get smaller and will be more easy to use.
가운데 보이시는 화면은
So in the middle is a UTM. It's the screen that can be used by drone operators. We can make this possible. So our headquarters is located. This headquarters is located in Daejeon. But we also hosted tests in Yeongwol in Gangwon, as well as all the places across the country. So each drone had different missions when we did our demonstration. So this is how we utilize a UTM system. So we will take this project to the next level around January next year. Well, let me share my childhood story. I had this little automobile toy. When I first had this toy, I played with it at home. But over time, I took it outside and played with my friends. So why I'm telling you this story is it is the same with the UAM and drones. These are the new types of new modes of transportation and we are at the very early stage of the development, but over time, it will be further developed and enhanced.
이 사람들을
And
서비스가 뭐가 있을까 해서 드론을 가지고
there's a
물건을 배달하는 걸 시작을 해봤습니다. 처음에는
And also, there's a businessman who had tried this idea of using drone to deliver products to their users. At the initial stage,
비용도 쌀 뿐더러
the shipping cost was really expensive when not using drones, but using conventional ships.
이제는
So
대한민국을 알리는
this businessman started to use this idea of using drone to deliver products that is relatively light, maybe the goods, little tiny goods or products.
해봤을 때 저희가
So we believe this can be a really great idea.
반응이 정말 폭발적이었습니다.
And we, on our part, supported companies with innovative ideas such as this to expand their businesses.
그래서 이렇게 쌓인 데이터들을 향후
And based on our data collected from all these demonstration projects or R&D projects, we'll be able to take our UAM project to the next level. So
어반 스카이입니다. 그래서
our initial slogan was "Open the urban sky," but these days we have new slogan "Into the urban sky."